Friday, September 9th, 2022, and yesterday, Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning British monarch in history, died. And this is a weird one. It's a tough one. And for lots of reasons that like everybody has already sort of said. I don't think I'm going to add a lot to that discussion. But, you know, for most of the world, we don't know what a British monarchy transfer of power looks like or feels like. Um, and through, it was mentioned on The View today, you have to sort of separate the monarch from the monarchy. Um, as much as you may disagree with the monarchy and its history and everything that uh, it stood for and um, eh, eh, which is different from what it's become. Um, the the woman was a constant formidable force, and really is the architect of the current British Commonwealth. She you know um, created that sort of network out of the shambles of World War II. So World War I, World War II. Sorry. um and So, I mean, there's a lot to give her credit for, and despite any of the controversies about the family, or she was very much a worldwide constant for everyone. So it is a little difficult to sort of wrap your head around um, what all that means and how you feel about it. The View had ABC's James Longman on today, who is ridiculously hot. I don't know who's in ABC casting at ABC News, but they've hit, my sweet spot on the vast majority of their homosexual reporters. Um, and yeah, and Gio Benitez. We still don't know about David Muir. um, the list could go on and on. But yeah, kudos to them. Anyway, so he was on and talking about the mood in London outside Buckingham Palace, and what a cultural shift it is, how pervasive her image and her um, the institution that she is, aside the monarchy, her how pervasive that is in culture. And I said yesterday to my family, we're Canadian. I was like, "What's Canada going to do with the money?" Because the Queen's face is all over the money. Are they going to switch to Charles? Or are they just going to skip the monarch on the money altogether? And this whole thing sort of begs the question to me about how well that Commonwealth is going to hold together, because she sort of was the glue. Everyone had reverence for her because she was the binding force, right? She's the thing that brought it all together. She's the constant. No one necessarily feels that affinity for or allegiance towards King Charles. So, a country like Australia, why do they need a head of state that's on the other side of the world? That has nothing to do with them. Um, and so we've reached a point in Irish history that maybe Northern Ireland and can join the rest of its island in the country of Ireland. I don't, you know, I don't know. It seems to me that there's a lot more ramifications from this, um, sort of geopolitically, than than that than just what it is that we're feeling. And I think it's really hard to articulate how you're feeling because it's a it's a loss you don't have anything to compare to, really. Um, so all that aside, um, we'll see how this all plays out. But our dear friend Megan McCain wrote an article about the Queen. Now, she has, for a very long time, been very fervent and ardent about that. She hates the monarchy. We're America. We don't have a monarchy. We should. Why does the monarchy matter to us? Who gives a shit? Blah blah. Like, she's just been really, well, bratty about the whole thing, and she writes this glowing article in the Daily Mail, which is a terrible website, um, about Queen Elizabeth. And of course, she starts out the article by saying, "I'm a patriotic American." Who gives a flying fuck, Meghan? Um, and then she goes on to say why she, as an adult, has come to understand the Queen's place in the world, and lists off a bunch of things that the Queen, statistics about the Queen that most people should know, and whatever, um, and uh, why Meghan has come around on this. And in typical Meghan fashion, it's like, well, now that I see this, it's okay for the rest of you to believe things, and admire her. Um, so it, this is typical Meghan at the end of her article. Um, where does it start? She talks about she was born in a generation, and sort of the war generation, and whatever it is. Um, in America, we know that some of our parents and grandparents were called off to war in Europe, but in the United Kingdom, war came to them. No shit, Sherlock. That's history. Um, the following generations of leaders have shown themselves to be more selfish, weaker, and more easily led by impulses. Okay, um, you mean the Trump era? Because there's a whole generation of leaders that came between those. Um, and uh, she says, um, to my British friends, I thank you for sharing your pain and adoration for a woman I only began to appreciate in my adulthood. Understanding her place in history has made me more appreciative of your wonderful country and America's greatest global ally. There will be a day when the mourning is past, when you are able to think fondly of everything Queen Elizabeth has done to strengthen your nation. As for today, I wish you peace in your grief and respect the passing of your greatness. There will be a day when mourning is past, when you are able to think fondly of everything Queen Elizabeth has done. You think they don't think fondly of her? You dum-dum? Like, get bent, Meghan. They don't need your permission to think fondly of their queen. Jesus Christ. It's just the the inherent selfishness of this person is just it is maddening. Anyway, so there's Meghan's 2 cents on Queen Elizabeth. And we've got it's 10 days until the funeral, which is going to be on a Sunday morning. So God knows I'll be up whatever ungodly hour it is to watch the entire um, uh, procedure in Westminster Abbey, just as I have for all those other pomp and circumstance moments. But I will say they keep showing the image of her at Prince Philip's funeral, sitting there in the church alone with her mask on. And I remember at the time, and it's still hard to look at, just how painful that is to see a woman bury her husband of that many years and to have to sit alone, which she did, stoically and bravely. And I feel like there's got to be a time when you can break a protocol, and being able to sit next to your mother as she buries and says goodbye to her husband and hold her hand just seems like a moment where protocol could have been broken. But anyway, twasn't. And as they say, we carry on.